Gene Simmons of Kiss made a, quote, surprise visit to the Pentagon and the White House in Washington, D.C. Now, I know what you guys might be thinking, and if you're not, at least I am. I know Gene Simmons is very important, but how does one exactly make a surprise visit to the White House or the Pentagon? I'm not exactly sure how that works. But, people are starting to raise their eyebrows about this and think that maybe this isn't a surprise visit. Speculating if Gene Simmons wants to work for President Donald Trump, potentially, as Gene isn't announcing his business in the White House or the Pentagon. Now, the Pentagon hasn't had a guest speaker in it for over a year, and the United States is now having rising conflicts with the Middle East. And next thing you know, Gene Simmons of Kiss is addressing the public in the Pentagon. So a lot of people are confused about this. I know that there's a lot of people who are rubbed the wrong way by it. But what people need to understand is that Gene was there doing something very touching. He was speaking about his love for the United States of America. Upon watching his speech, he was speaking about his mother, who was a Holocaust survivor, and how America was a beacon of freedom and hope in his life, in his mother's life, after such a traumatic experience. And I think that that's beautiful. He also took time to meet and take photos with Army veterans and different people. As you can see here on Twitter, somebody who was in attendance. So Gene taking a couple photos. Now, the thing that rubs me the wrong way, though, is that people are trying to say it's a surprise visit. But how is this a surprise visit when they have all these graphics loaded up on the screen? Like, you think the Pentagon are just big Kiss fans and they just typically have a slideshow of all the fucking Kiss discography in the middle of the press room? I mean, there's multiple photos here. So it definitely looks like this wasn't a quote surprise visit. And again, I don't know how that would be possible. Now, Gene didn't only go to the Pentagon. Gene also went, as I said, over to the White House. And Gene and Shannon watched the departure of President Donald Trump from his helicopter. And it appears that they went into the White House, and my gut tells me that Gene met with Trump. Now, I believe Gene Simmons and Donald Trump have been friends for quite a long time. Whether they admit it or not, most of the people in Hollywood and most of the people in politics have been friends with Donald Trump, at least before his presidency publicly, for a very, very long time and know him quite well. So is this a surprise? No. Also, Gene Simmons and Kiss. Oh, I don't know about all of Kiss. I know Paul Stanley's very opposed, but Gene Simmons has been very supportive of Donald Trump publicly as well. But, he started to become more sly about it, and I think that this is a good commentary on Gene Simmons' business mind. It appears to me that he went into the Oval Office, or into the White House at least, and met with Donald Trump. And there were no photos of it. There's no photo of him standing next to the presidential desk. There's no photos. People are in a weird spot because they're so used to being polarized by anything politics. But all Gene Simmons has done is simply gone to the White House and made a speech about the military. So people are sort of trying to be angry and trying to point the finger, and it's unsuccessful because there's no meat to it. He hasn't done anything wrong. I also agree with the fact that his speech was nonpartisan. It had nothing to do with politics. And really all that he wanted to say was, hey, I think it's okay for a kid to come out and say, God bless America, or be very proud to be from America. And I happen to agree with that. I think being proud of where you're born and proud of where you're from is an important thing. And also having appreciation for the freedoms that you've been granted is very important. And in terms of there not being any cameras or him being in there and celebrities working with the president and stuff, since we're talking about it, I don't have a problem with celebrities working with the president. What I have a problem with is photo ops and publicity stunts. So if a celebrity is going to go in there and talk about prison reform, I'm comfortable with that. Do we need the photos? I don't think so, because that tells me that you're doing it for attention. So hopefully Gene Simmons is in there talking about something of substance. And the fact that he's not turning it into a PR stunt and the press is just following him brings up some respect points for Gene in my eyes for sure.